Welcome back to Full Time Out, your favorite sports podcast, hosted by your boy AJ2K. It's a pleasure? I'm about to say, is it a pleasure? It's a pleasure to be here in front of you guys today. Took last week off, bye week for Philadelphia, bye week for me. But it's bruh, it's a ton, and I mean a ton to get into this week because we saw a lot of interesting things this past week in the National Football League, and then some things as well going on in basketball that I have to discuss. Now, I will admit, listen, I'm trying to break the show up a certain way so that I talk some basketball and some football, but football is too prevalent right now. It's too important to me right now to not spend most of the time that I have before you guys talking about football. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to prioritize, okay, what I care about most right now. Now I'm locked in basketball. I will have them basketball conversations when football season is wrapping up. Come playoff time, when there's not as many games going on, and I ain't got to make predictions every week. Well, I'm gonna make predictions every week, but it won't be as many games to predict. I'll focus more on basketball because the rest of the show I have to dedicate to basketball, and basketball at that time will be more relevant in my eyes. But right now, football is king. I'm sorry, it's king. So it's a lot going on, but I want to get into it, man. Again, welcome back to Full Time Out. Thank you for the applause. Thank you for the applause. I want to get right into it and jump right into what we just witnessed in week 10. First game I want to discuss from the NFL's week 10. Bengals, Texans. Let's talk about it. Now, first thing I want to say is in regards to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's see. Did I predict? I predicted this game wrong. Let me go ahead and give myself a little buzzer for that. First thing I want to say, I'm sorry. First thing I want to say is in regards to the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud is him. CJ Stroud is him. He's one of the best throwers of the football in the league right now. He's accurate from the pocket. He's carrying a team in the Houston Texans that nobody thought would be like that. I mean, they had the top three. You know what I'm saying? They had, I think, pick number 2 and 3 in the draft this past year. So that just goes to show how bad the team was heading into this season. CJ Stroud didn't have high expectations amongst many people to be successful within his first year because of what they had at their disposal. And so far, he has stepped on the scene and he has shown out. He's put top 5 in just about every passing category. He only has 2 interceptions on the season. The man is playing lights out football. And he just took down one of, I believe, the best teams in the league, the Cincinnati Bengals, who was on a nice little win streak, playing some of the best ball that they've played all season. Game-winning drive, game-winning field goal on behalf of CJ Stroud and whoever the kicker is for the Houston Texans. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. But special. That's special ball. Now, I'll get to the Bengals in a second because I have a little something to say about them and how they kind of folded even when CJ tried to give them the game back. But all in all, I mean, you got to give credit to CJ Stroud. You got to give credit to DeMeco Ryans as a head coach. Should be a head coach of the year candidate. I got another head coach that I want to talk about as a coach of the year candidate who I think should be the leader as far as coach of the year. And I'll get to that when I predict another or when I recap another game. But what they're doing right now is special. You know what I mean? The casual fan can't name 5 players on that team. Let's just call it spade a spade. The casual fan can't name 5 players on that offense or 5 players on that defense. Let's just say 7 players, 8 players, and that just goes to show CJ Stroud is the definition of an MVP candidate. He is. He is the most valuable player on the Houston Texans. And you can make an argument that he is the most valuable player in the NFL today. Now, me personally, I'm not going to make that argument. I'm not making that argument. And that's where I want to kind of reel it in just a little bit when it comes to CJ Stroud. I respect CJ Stroud and what he's doing. I've been talking about him on previous shows. I think CJ Stroud is a special talent. I think his talent and his production so far from what we've seen. Now, if he goes on to win the division and goes on, a crazy run and ends up second, third in the AFC, okay, I'm having a different conversation. But as we stand here today, Houston Texans at 5-4. I think the award that's due to him is Rookie of the Year. I think that's the award that should be given to CJ Stroud. MVP, I view as not only the most valuable player on his team and the most valuable player in the league, but you got to win more games. I'm sorry. I said it. I'm sorry I said it. Before last week, we had Patrick Mahomes, we had Jalen Hurts, we had Lamar Jackson, we had Tua Tagovailoa, we had, at one point Brock Purdy. We had all these different quarterbacks in the mix. I agree. There should be some other position groups in there, but it is what it is. It's a quarterback award. We all know this, right? But we had all these other players in the conversation for MVP. And now this morning I'm waking up and I'm hearing CJ Stroud should be the favorite. And I'm like, how CJ Stroud leapfrog all these other, how he just leapfrog Pat and Jalen Hurts on their bye weeks, how he just leapfrog Tua Tagovailoa, how he just leapfrog, all these other players who are also playing high level football, but more importantly, they're winning more football games. They're winning more football games. And I think that's the thing that kills me. The thing that frustrates me most right now is I understand CJ Stroud is an incredible talent, but I never thought the MVP of any sport that I watch should go to a player that does not have a record that's conducive to at least top 2 in your conference. That's just me. I've always felt like that. I've always felt like the MVP should go to the best player or the best quarterback in this case on the best team. If not the best team, the second best team. Heck, top 4 team in the NFL. Just top 2 within your conference. That's how I feel. The Houston Texans are not that. Is that his fault? No, that's not his fault. It's not his fault. I'm not saying that it's his fault. But what I'm saying is I can't leapfrog Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes specifically. You know what I mean? Because CJ Stroud just beat the Bengals with a game-winning touchdown or game-winning drive and has all these numbers and all of this, sitting at 5-4, second in his division. I can't do it. Now, he has an opportunity to right that ship. He has an opportunity to see the Jacksonville Jaguars very soon. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if they snatch the division. We'll see how he ends the season. He's got the Ravens coming up. He's got the Browns coming up, 2 elite defenses. We're going to see how he looks the rest of the year. But to all those saying that he's MVP right now, I say pump the brakes. I say pump the brakes. You know who I believe should be MVP? Whoever wins this upcoming matchup between the Chiefs and the Eagles. I think whichever quarterback wins that matchup, especially if that quarterback balls out, is one thing if the defense carries a team to a win, then it's like, okay, well, it's still kind of But whoever wins that matchup should be the favorite. That's my opinion. And I'll dive deeper into that as we go down, more predictions. But again, as far as the Bengals are concerned, you can't lose that game. In a division that's so tight with the Steelers winning football games, the Ravens winning football games, you got the Cleveland Browns competitive all of a sudden, which I kind of expected. I'll talk about them in a hot second too. You can't afford to lose that football game. Joe Burrow threw 2 of the ugliest picks we've maybe ever seen him throw, and it cost them the game late. Tyler Boyd dropped a wide open touchdown pass in the back of the end zone that could have put them up 7. Instead, or I think they could have put them up 4 because I think they were down 3. They tied the game up with a field goal, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But all I know is that touchdown could have very well sealed the game. He dropped the pass. It didn't seal the game. And now you're stuck in a situation where the ball gets back to CJ Stroud. And now CJ Stroud has an opportunity to go up. Yep. They were down 24-27. The touchdown pass was dropped. They had to set up for a field goal to tie the game up at 27. CJ Stroud comes back, game-winning drive, field goal for the game. You put CJ Stroud in a position to go win the football game because Burrow's interceptions and the drop pass at the end. And you could talk about everything else that happened in that football game, but those are the 3 most important plays in the entire game in my eyes. And they all came from the Bengals side of the football because I believe the Bengals are the better football team. They are. They're the better team. And they smoked that game at home. Terrible game to lose. Now, do I believe this is going to end the Bengals season? No, because Joe Burrow, like I said before, is back. He is elite. He's gonna find a way to right the ship. And I think they'll be fine going forward. But as of right now, as we sit today, as we stand today, that's a tough loss in a tough division and an even tougher conference. So, but again, shout out to the Texans. Shout out to CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is undeniably rookie of the year. Undeniably. I want to pump the brakes on MVP though. If Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts continue to ascend, if they continue to play ball the way they've been playing ball, and they finish the season with a 14-3 record, 13-4 record, and they're number one, number two in their conference, I'm not giving the MVP to somebody who maybe got the 7th seed in the conference. Come on, bro. I just don't. I don't believe. I don't care what the numbers say. I need those wins as well. So that's just how I see it. Offensive or rookie of the year, yes. MVP, I'm not giving that to CJ yet. He can still get it done, but as of right now, 4 losses on your record, I can't do it. Moving on to the Vikings and the Saints. I don't have much to say about the Saints in this matchup right here. If I'm not mistaken, I picked the Saints to win this game and wrong. I don't have much to say about the Saints in this matchup, but what I will say is about the Minnesota Vikings. Hottest team right now in the NFC. They've won like 5 games in a row. And KOC, Kevin O'Connell, is who I believe should be coach of the year if the season ended today. What he's done throughout this season, you go out and you play terrible. Well, I won't play terrible, but your team turns the ball over a million times within the first 5 weeks of the season. You go down 1-4 is your record. You lose Justin Jefferson. You lose Kirk Cousins. Your backup comes in, Jaren Hall. You lose him. Now you got Joshua Dobbs coming in just last week, trying to learn the snap count to beat the Falcons on the sideline. Trying to get the cadence and everything down for the offensive line on the sideline, trying to learn the playbook on the sideline. Like, what should we do? Hey, all those fails, just take off to the left, take off to the right, just run. If the first read ain't there, just take off, bro. We got nothing for you. We wasn't prepared for this moment. You've only been here for a week. And what does he do? He goes out there and finds a way to coach this team to a pivotal win against the Falcons. And then you come out with another full week with Joshua Dobbs, who a lot of teams pass up on. A lot of people are not high on. Me, myself included, I'm not extremely high on. And you go out there and get a win against a very tough defense, one of the best defenses in the league. And Dobbs goes out there with his playbook, KOC's, his game plan, and throws for 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, and runs for another 44 yards and a touchdown. No turnovers. Not only do you not have Justin Jefferson, you also don't have KJ Osborne. I mean, it's special. I ain't gonna lie, it's special. Shout out to TJ Hockenson, who stepped up big time in this game, 11 receptions for 134 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Addison is coming into his own, 4 receptions for 69 yards. But it's special what he's doing with a team that nobody really expected much from this season. Let's be honest. They came off a season where they won 13 games, and everybody this season been like, they there. The Vikings, they there. And they started 1-4, and I was ready to bury him. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, they done. They got San Fran coming up pretty soon. They're done. They're cooked. And they found a way to beat San Fran. Then they found a way to beat the Falcons. They found a way to beat the Saints. You know what I mean? So their schedule does not get harder from here. It's actually kind of sweet. I think they're going to continue to win football games the way they've been winning football games. I think Josh Dobbs and this offense with Justin Jefferson coming back into the fold, when KJ gets back healthy, it's going to be a problem for the rest of the teams that they got to play on their schedule. And like I said, given everything that this football team has had to deal with, the resiliency that they have displayed, that's all on coaching. Because at the end of the day, this team could have packed it in 1,000,001 times. 1,000,001 times they could have said, it ain't our year. We done. We no longer want to compete. But KLC got these boys like, no, we can compete. We all know the Vikings ain't winning no Super Bowl. We all know they probably getting bounced in the first round. We all know this. Everybody, probably Vikings fans, and I think even most Vikings fans, if you ask them realistically what their playoff expectations are, they're going to tell you we probably going to go home in the first round if we make it. KFC got these boys believing that they can make a serious run. And you could tell by the way that they play on a Sunday to Sunday basis. It's the NFL. Anything is possible. And you can tell KLC got these boys ready and prepared, man. You know, you can say what you want about DeMeco Ryans. You can say what you want about Mike Tomlin. You can say what you want about Nick Sirianni and, you know, whatever other coach you want to bring up. That's coaching at a high level. But no team has had to deal with the amount of adversity and injuries to their key players as the Minnesota Vikings and KOC, and still found a way to be the hottest team in the NFC. CJ Stroud, he's there. Jalen Hurts is hobbled, but he's out there. You know, Kenny Pickett, he's out there with all his stars on offense. KOC is missing his two best offensive players, and Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, and they still winning football games. They got a third string quarterback in there right now, putting up numbers, because KOC is designing that offense in a way that helps him be successful. So I gotta give props where it's due. Me personally, and I said this, if you guys listen to the ESPN podcast that I'm on, shout out to Taxi Squad. The link is in my bio at AJ2K. The letter J, you know, AE2K, letter K. It's all in my bio. You can click on that, view that podcast called Taxi Squad. On that podcast, I said myself, I'm like, look, if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm looking at this situation like, I want to win the Super Bowl, and it's sour as it sounds. I don't really want to win games right now. I want to put Jaren Hall out there to see what Jaren Hall has, honestly. Now, he went out and got concussed in the Falcons game, but I want to see what he has. I want to give him an opportunity to go out here and ball or fail so that I know what I have, you know, moving forward, because there's no guarantee Kirk Cousins is going to re-sign with the football team. That was my mindset. It's still my mindset. But on the flip side, I can understand where Vikings fans are just like, man, listen, we winning games. And I just want to keep winning games. I feel you. But the mere fact that KLC is doing this with Joshua Dobbs, without Justin Jefferson, without KJ Osborne, without, you know, Kirk Cousins. Shout out to Brian Flores, too, who's doing a hell of a job on the defensive side of things. That same defense was one of the worst in the league last year. Scheme switch up, personnel switch up, a slight personnel switch up, and now they playing like a top 10 defense. I mean, hey, you gotta give props where it's due all across the board, but I think it starts with KLC. I think he's runaway coach of the year right now. I think DeMeco Ryans is there. He's there. But if I had to give the one coach right now, it'd be KLC as coach of the year, given everything he's had to go through and what he's had to get his team to persevere through and still go out there and win. They 6-4. The Minnesota Vikings are 6-4, and they still have a chance to catch the Lions for the division. They play the Lions twice at the end of the year. They still could catch the Lions for the division, as crazy as that sounds. Mind-boggling. Moving on here, we got the San Francisco 49ers and the Jaguars. The Jaguars pissed me off this game. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Now, as the Eagles fan, obviously I'm rooting for the Jaguars to win this game, continue to knock the 49ers down so the Eagles have an easy route to the number one seed in the NFC. And right now it's looking like it's multiple teams in that race, but it's looking like about a 4-horse race between the Eagles, San Fran, the Lions, and Dallas. I said this about Jacksonville, and I'll say it again. They was hot, but they so up and down. You don't know what to expect from this team, and that's the most frustrating part about this football team. San Fran went out there and did what they were supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do. They forced turnovers. They made plays, you know. But I left this game feeling like it was more about Jacksonville than it was about San Fran. Because Jacksonville has so many opportunities in this football game, and just, you know, whether it be interceptions or random turnovers or just silly plays, missing reads, not blocking, playing terrible defense. It's like, yo, just get a game to them then. Just lay down and get a game to them. Fresh off a bye. That's how you come off a bye and play. One of the best teams in football. One of the best offensive teams in the league. That's how you come out there and play against another high-level football team in the 49ers who you knew would be hungry. Not to mention Jacksonville at home. Any inexcusable, you know, I'm not going to say inexcusable loss because the 49ers are like that. But the way the Jags came out and played, that's inexcusable. 185 yards, 2 interceptions for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, what is this? And I'm tired. Listen, I respect Trevor Lawrence. But stop putting this man on this level with all these other elite quarterbacks. Guys like Nick Wright and others, the Prince and all this stuff. Man, stop. Stop. We don't believe you. We need more people, as Jay-Z would say. Stop, bro. Stop. Because performances like this leave me scratching my head, bro. You supposed to be up for a team like the 49ers, and that's how you come out and play. I'm not giving the 49ers all the credit for this. I'm not. I respect the Niners. That defensive front is great. The addition of Chase Young is huge, obviously. Him and Bosa on opposite sides of the line is insanity. The secondary played really well. We all know what the linebackers can do. They needed this bye so they can get guys like Deebo Samuels back, so they can get guys like Trent Williams back in the fold. And it obviously showed. But the Jaguars went out there and laid an egg at the crib. And if I was a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I'd be so pissed. I'd be hot. Really? That's what we doing? This is what I turned on to watch. If I bought tickets to the game, this is what I pulled up to see. Come on, bro. We better than this. I mean, it was unacceptable. But again, that's why I said before, and I'll say it again, you just never know what you're gonna get out of Jacksonville. I still think they'll be good enough to win the division. The Texans are right there at 5-4, creeping up. But I do think Jacksonville will end up winning this division, and securing it. But they so up and down, they probably lose in the first round. They probably lose in the first. I don't know who the matchup will be. You see any of them NFC North teams, you going home. You see the Browns, or you see maybe even the Steelers. You see one of them defenses, you see the Bengals, you going home first round playing like that. You going home first round. That's just a fact. They're going home first round playing like that against an elite defense. It ain't happening. It is not happening. It's not happening. You're not going to go out there and throw 5 interceptions and come back and beat another team in the postseason. This ain't the Chargers. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. So they need to get it together. That's unacceptable. If I'm Doug Peterson, I am hot. Again, if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I'm hot. But on the other side, like I said, I don't want to give the 49ers all the credit because I don't think that was all about the 49ers and their defense. I think that was a lot of mental mistakes and a lot of silly stuff the Jacksonville Jaguars was doing in part. But that's not to take all credit away from San Fran, because San Fran did come to play. And you went out there and blew out a really good team. You get credit for blowing out a really good team at the end of the day. You did it. It happened. It is what it is. Christian McCaffrey wasn't able to extend his touchdown streak and break a record, but it's cool because Deebo Samuel was back. He played very well. Trent Williams was back. He played very well. Brock Purdy, who was coming off 3 bad games in my eyes, threw for close to 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had a QBR of 87.8 and a quarterback rating of 148.9. Played out of his mind. Sensational. They had to put Sam Darnold out there to close the game. I mean, hey, you get credit for it. Not trying to take too much credit away from San Fran. I think I'm just more disappointed in Jacksonville. San Fran came to play, and they played their butts off. And, you got to give credit where it's due, man. That type of win, even if you could say Jacksonville just didn't come to play, which I believe in parts they didn't, that type of win ignites the 49ers, and the 49ers are right back in the hunt. They right back in things. Their schedule ain't the sweetest coming up, but, that puts them right back in the thick of things. Okay, we still that team. That's the type of win that they needed to show themselves. We still that team, because they won't admit it. Their fans might not admit it, but after you lose 3 straight games, your confidence kind of take a hit. It take a hit. So to get that kind of win for the 49ers, huge win. And obviously the 49ers are still a team that you got to look out for when it comes to competing for that NFC. That defense is legit. When that offense is rolling on all cylinders, it's legit. Kyle Shanahan, legit. And when they're healthy, ain't nobody that they scared of in the NFC. I'll say that. It's nobody. If I'm a 49er fan, if we're healthy, there's nobody I'm afraid of in the NFC. Afraid of, keyword. Nobody I'm afraid of. Not to say nobody I don't think we could lose to, because obviously Philly's there. Obviously Philly's there. But afraid of, I wouldn't say I'm afraid of Philadelphia. So, big time win for the San Francisco 49ers. Then you get the Browns and the Ravens. Listen, I'm not one to sit up here and bash. And another game I got wrong. I'm just singling out games I got wrong this week. I'm not one to sit up here and bash the Baltimore Ravens. or not bash the Ravens. I'm not want to set up and bash Lamar Jackson. You see a lot of media pundits want to come on and bash Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson this, Lamar Jackson that. Lamar Jackson put up 31 points. That defense is number 2 overall. There's no way in hell you let the Browns put up 33 points. Especially with the way Deshaun Watson has, like, it's weird because my viewpoint on Deshaun Watson has not changed. It has not changed. Deshaun Watson still does not look right to me. He still don't look good to me. He makes a couple plays here and there. He does his thing here and there. Maybe I'm just too caught up in how he used to play and how he used to look to really give a fair assessment on what he should be right now or how he should be viewed right now. But I mean, QBR 60, passer rating is 64 point, what is it, 64.8. You know, he started the game off like 2 of 10 or something like that from the field passing. Finished the game with 200. I mean, I don't know, 213 yards. I mean, he getting it done in different ways. They winning with him at the helm. But bruh, he's still, Ravens not supposed to lose that game. And you go up 31-17, you think the game is a wrap. And the way they just crumbled and folded that game away, I'm not putting it all on Lamar Jackson, even though obviously Lamar did make some crucial mistakes down the stretch of this football game, an important football game. And that's not the first time he's done that this season. When you look at the Colts game, that wasn't the best Lamar Jackson game. When you look at the Steelers game, one could say, you know, it was a lot of drop passes. It was a lot of things going wrong. But, you know, much like Jalen Hurts in the Jets game, Lamar Jackson threw the dagger at the end to end the game. At the end of the day, the Ravens are a much better team than what they put out on display yesterday, Sunday. Again, I'm recording this on the Monday. Much better team than what they put out on display. They went out there, they smoked the Lions. They smoked the Seahawks. 2 teams that I deem to be NFC threats. NFC threats. Philadelphia see either one of them teams in the playoffs. All right, we got to be up for these. We got to be up for these dudes. I respect both of them. One has I believe, elite defense in the Seahawks. The other has an elite offense in the Detroit Lions. You got to be ready for that. But the Ravens made it look sweet, made it look easy against both of those teams. They didn't come out. I believe this game, if I'm not mistaken, was in Baltimore, and allow the Cleveland Browns in the second half to move the ball, mainly fourth quarter, mainly third, fourth quarter, move the ball up and down the field. Man, look, I don't know what to say about it. You give the Browns their respect and their props. They are 6-3 right now. So, I mean, it's weird to say I'm surprised because I'm not surprised. But if you told me Deshaun Watson would look how he's looked, yeah, I'm surprised because there's no way they're 6-3 with Lamar with Deshaun playing the way he's playing. But at the end of the day, you know, he getting the job done. That loss was dang near just as bad as the Bengals loss. Again, in a tight conference and a tight division. And now, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to get into these predictions real soon for the next week. Every team in the NFC North plays each other. So you got the lowest seed, I think, is if I'm not mistaken, it is the Bengals. And they all like 5-4, 6-3, 7-3. Like it's insane. It's insane. So those predictions are going to get interesting. I haven't even fully thought about who I'm going to pick in those games, but it's going to be interesting next week to see who comes out on top, see who I predict, and then to see who comes out on top. But the Baltimore Ravens, man, I mean, 33 points, second best defense in the league, unacceptable. Heck, it was even unacceptable for the Bears or the Browns to give up 31 points. If somebody told me the Ravens was going to score 31 points in this football game, I'd have said the Ravens going to win this game running away, probably 31-10. 33 points. Disappointing, bro. It's not much else you could say. It's not much else you could say. And again, for the people who want to put this all on Lamar, you got to speak about that defense too. Stephen A., Shannon Sharp, all these dudes on TV talking about Lamar this, Lamar that, is they getting their money worth. This, that. Listen, Lamar might not be playing the best of football in their losses, but we gotta talk about this defense too, bro. This defense is come on, bro. Come on, bro. They got too much firepower out there to be playing like that. 33, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. You rewatch that game, you still don't even understand how they was able to put up the type of numbers that they put up. I mean, huh? But anytime you go up 31-17 on a football team, that's game. To an elite defense, you got 2 touchdowns to work with, that's game. And somehow, some way, between Lamar and that defense, they let that game slide. They let it slip. Gave the ball back to the Browns. Deshaun made the right plays at the right times at the very end. Looked like on a bum ankle. Game-winning field goal. Ugly. Terrible loss. But they got a chance to right this ship next week. I believe they play the Bengals. We'll talk about that in a second. We will talk about that in a hot second. Do I want to discuss any of these other games? I mean, the Chargers let me down this week. Yet another game, boy. It was a rough week. It was a rough week, people, and you're gonna have those sometimes. You're gonna have those sometimes. I mean, I did get some of these right. I got the Steelers game right. I got the Bucks game right. I got Cowboys game right. I did get the Seahawks game right. But like, I took a whole lot of L's this week. I ain't gonna lie. Now I'm still 88-58. So that should tell you a lot. I'm still well above 500 in my predictions, but this was a rough week for you, boy. My record this week was 5-7. Ugly. And most of the L's that I took was for them close tricky games. I take pride in predicting the not even the upsets, but the games where 2 of the best teams in the league match up. I'm gonna pick this team. I'm gonna get that game right, and I got a lot of them wrong this week. So, it is what it is. Again, the Chargers let me down this week. Detroit showed up. I've talked about them before. I don't feel like harping on them again. Great offense. Jared Allen. Jared Goff playing great football. Amon St. Brown playing great football. That defense for Detroit, I'm not confident in, but that offense is carrying right now. You got to give respect where it's due. And again, the Chargers, when I said I don't know about Herbert, he puts up great numbers in L's. That's all I see is L's, though. A lot of people ain't like it. But they sitting at 4-5 right now? They probably won't make the playoffs. Yeah, you can say it's the defense. Yeah, you can say it's coaching. Yeah, you can say it's all these other things, and they do play a part. But my hands are up. My hands are tied when it comes to the Chargers. I was counting on them this week. They ain't get it done. I ain't got much to say other than shout out to the Lions, 7-2. I need them to start losing some games soon, though, so that the Eagles can get this 1 seed. That's just how I see it. You got Dallas and the Giants. I mean, who didn't expect what we saw? And now you got, they lost. I didn't speak to you guys last week. Philly went out there and handled business. They almost smoked it at the end, but they went out there and handled business against the Dallas Cowboys. And now they sitting at 8-1 on top of the NFC, on top of the league, and on top of the division. And you got Micah Parsons coming out after the game saying that he believes Dak Prescott should be an MVP candidate. When the 2 opportunities that Dak Prescott has had so far this season to play against elite talent, he found one way or another to fold. In the San Francisco game, he went out there and dominated. Or I'm sorry, the Philadelphia game, he went out there and dominated from a statistical standpoint. But then when the game was on the line, he's stepping out of bounds on the 2-point conversion. He missing guys on wide open reads in the red zone, getting sacked, taking sacks he's not supposed to take. San Fran game, he didn't show up at all. But he should be an MVP candidate. You got CeeDee Lamb coming out. Shout out to CeeDee. 3 straight games, over 150 yards receiving, 10 catches, 11 catches, somewhere around in there. NFL record. Shout out to CeeDee Lamb. Now he coming out saying he the best in the game. And for everybody who's listening, they like, AJ, why you don't never show them no love? Because they show themselves enough love. The media showed them enough love. And I'm an Eagles fan. I don't know what you expect. But it's like, bruh, you just get tired of it, man. Now the media is 400 yards, but they played the New York Giants. And again, Eagles and Eagles fans got bashed all last season because people felt like we ain't play nobody. But then for the Dallas Cowboys, they'll sit up here and say, look at what he did. 400 yards this past week against the New York Giants. They'll sit there after they lose to the Philadelphia Eagles and talk about how great Dak Prescott looked in a loss. He's 30 years old. He's 31 years old. He's an 8-year vet. And we talking about how great he looked in a loss as if he's a 2-year pro, as if he's a rookie, as if he's CJ Stroud. He's got so much promise and potential. He lost. Why are we not talking about Philadelphia more than we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys? Because Philadelphia won the football game. And now they're going on a bye with a 2-game lead on the division. 1-game lead on the conference. 1-game lead on the NFL now. In a comfortable position. With a bit of a cushion now. At least respectively in the division. Why are we not talking about that? We end up talking about how great Dak Prescott looked in a loss. In a game that they should have won. They had the ball at the 5-yard line with 20 seconds left. You're supposed to win that game. Then we're having a totally different conversation. Then, yeah, he's in that conversation. He wins that game. But he lost. False start. Took a bad sack. He lost. But Dak Prescott looked great. Come on, man. This is why. This is why. For people who ask why I don't like the Cowboys, this is why. Now, I give them their respect. They're a good football team. They gave us a run for our money. I thought we was going to lose that game on Sunday the way it was going. I had full confidence going in. Late in the fourth, I had no confidence. All right? That's the truth. They are a formidable team. They're a really good football team. They are a threat to win the NFC. They're a threat to win the division. They are still right there. They got the Panthers coming up. They're about to stomp the Panthers. They got the Commanders coming up. I predict they'll sweep the Commanders. And it'll be interesting to see how, Philadelphia matches up with them in Dallas because they play like superheroes in Dallas. So it's not to say I'm sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. They're trash or anything like that. I'm a realist. I know they're a damn good football team. But the hypocrisy and CeeDee Lamb talking about he the best receiver in the league, and y'all saying that Dak Prescott an MVP candidate after a loss, talking about how great he is after a loss. And then these same players, these same fans who's complaining about the officiating in the Philadelphia game as if they didn't get the same amount of calls called on them as us. We both had 10 penalties called on between both sides. Philadelphia, I think they had 98 yards lost on penalties. Y'all had, I think, 70 something. Penalties got y'all to the 5-yard line to end the game. To sit up here and act like CeeDee the best in the league, Dak MVP candidate, all this other stuff, and then when y'all lose and y'all don't play well, y'all be the first in line complaining about how the media and others is talking about y'all. They talk about y'all how they talk about y'all because of how y'all talk about y'all. Y'all just don't shut up. Y'all just talk nonstop. You're talking. You never let your play talk. You talk nonstop. You always got something to say. If it ain't the media, it's them. If it ain't them, the media, it's Jerry Jones. It's somebody. Always got to say something. They always got to say something. But then when you play bad, you want to duck accountability. Look at how they talk about my quarterback. What they don't talk about Jalen Hurts, the way they talk about Dak Prescott when he have a bad game. What they don't talk about Josh Allen. What they don't talk about Lamar Jackson. What they don't talk about this player and that player and that player when they have a bad game. But when we have a bad game, this is how they talk about us because they don't talk and act like how y'all talk and act. Except that. If you don't want that type of scrutiny, don't talk the way you talk because you already got a certain level of scrutiny as a Dallas Cowboy. You're a Dallas Cowboy. Perks and negatives come with that. But you add to that the negatives when you run your mouth like how you run your mouth. Because you know the fall is going to come. And then you're going to get killed in the media. And then it's woe is me. Then there's playing the victim card. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, bro. I'm sick of it. Shout out to them, though, for doing what they did to the New York Giants. It's the second time they did it basically this year. 49-17. They beat them before, I think, 30-something or 40-0. It was going to happen. Kudos to them. But my goodness, y'all. My only complaint is that if y'all going to sit up here and cry about the scrutiny that y'all get, Don't be so quick to heap praise on y'all when y'all playing well. Because that same praise is going to be scrutiny when y'all not playing well. And you got to accept that. If you're willing to accept that, okay. Okay. But if you're not willing to accept that, if you're going to cry and point to this player, that player, point to this player, that player, Micah Parsons, why you don't talk about this? Why you don't talk about it? If you're going to do all that, bro, then you might as well not say nothing positive about your team to that level. AVP candidate. Bro, what? After a loss to a division rival, your quarterback and MVP candidate. Y'all gave up 28 points as one of the best defenses in the league, and that's what you jumped on that podcast to say? I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, the ones that are listening. I know some of y'all follow the show and some of y'all listen, but this is just how I feel, bro. I'm tired, yo. I'm tired, bro. Let your play do the talking. Let your play do the talking. Beat somebody worth talking about, and then, okay, all right, you got it. But I mean, damn, bro. It's tired. It's tired. It's tired. Now, let's get to the predictions for next week. Also, Monday night game, I predicted the Buffalo Bills to win this game. They are currently down 3-0. If they lose this game, man, they might be cooked. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what's going on with Buffalo this year, but I did predict the downfall this year. I definitely predicted the downfall this year. Week 11, I spent way too long on that little rant. I didn't expect to go on the rant, but I don't care. It's full time out. It's my show. I'm sorry. If you don't like it, click off. I don't care. Don't tune in. I don't care. I don't care. This is how I feel as an Eagles fan. Eagles fans gonna vibe with what I got to say. That's what I care about. Real football fans that's objective is gonna vibe and understand exactly what I just said. Cowboy fans ain't gonna like it, but it is what it is. I gotta speak my mind. The first games that pop up on the docket, them AFC North games. Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. Oh, I don't come back to them games, man. I don't know how I want to sway in them games. I'm gonna come back to them games. Let me change my banner for the people watching on YouTube. I gotta come back to them games. Give me the Lions over the Bears. Unfortunately, the Lions are just much better than the Cleveland Browns. They're at home, or the Lions are much better than the Chicago Bears. I'm sorry, they're gonna probably wipe the floor with the Browns or the Bears. Keep calling them the Browns. They're gonna wipe the floor with the Bears. I don't see the Bears standing a chance in this football game, especially on the road in Detroit. Detroit understanding that seeding is on the line this late in the season, the division is on the line this late in the season. The Vikings are creeping up. You got to keep them down. The only way to do that is to keep winning and keep the Vikings at bay. You don't want to lose a game to the Bears. That just doesn't need to happen. Chargers at Packers. Give me the Chargers because they're playing the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have not looked good probably since week 3 this year. I was very high on Jordan Love. I still think Jordan Love can be a decent quarterback if you give him the right tools on the outside. But right now, he don't have them tools on the outside. Them guys out there dropping passes and stuff, man. Defense is patchy. Give me the Chargers over the Packers in that matchup right there. You got the Raiders and Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins, even though I do like what I'm seeing from the Raiders. They got a new head coach in there that's coaching really good. They're getting the ball to Devontae Adams. They are getting the ball to Jacobs. So they're finding ways to win football games. They're riding a 2-game winning streak, but they're going on the road to Miami. And I don't see their style of play being conducive to beating Miami. In order to beat Miami, you got to put up points. Miami at home, especially against teams they're supposed to beat, they normally embarrass them. And so I'm rolling with Miami in this football game. I think they come out, they handle business. I think the Ravens maybe give them a run for their money. They don't embarrass the Raiders. I don't think they're going to embarrass the Raiders, but at the same time, I think they're going to beat the Raiders probably at least by about 10 points. I'll say that. Give me the Dolphins in that matchup. Give me the Commanders over the Giants. The Giants have maybe the worst offense I've ever seen in my life. They had some dude in there named DeVito this past week against the Cowboys. Never heard of the guy. No offense to him. Every time he dropped back, he was looking to run. I respect it, though, because that Dallas Cowboy defense is serious, especially in Dallas. Now you're about to play the Commanders. That defense isn't quite the same, but the Commanders are still fighting to potentially make the playoffs. Sam Howell playing great football on the lowest of keys. He's turning the ball over at a rapid rate, but he's getting them passing yards and he's getting them passing touchdowns. He's also showed us he's pretty clutch. He's made some big time throws down the stretch of football games to keep the Commanders in the hunt. The issue has been their defense. But when you're going up against an offense like the New York Giants, without Tyrod Taylor, without Daniel Nichols, I call him Nichols, it should be relatively easy to go out there and get a win against a guy named DeVito. All you got to really worry about is Saquon Barkley. You slow down Saquon Barkley, it's over. I don't believe in the Giants defense. I think they're a shell of themselves. I think at this point, they're better off just tanking and trying to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL draft. Give me the Washington Commanders for this football game, and then we'll see about if the Commanders can sneak out a win on Thanksgiving. You got the Cowboys and you got the Panthers. Give me the Dallas Cowboys. I know they're on the road. They're good for having really high highs and really low lows, especially on the road, but they're playing against the Carolina Panthers, who are not good, just not good. And we know what the Cowboys do to bad teams. I don't know if that this game is going to be a complete blowout, but it'll probably be a 14-point win, 15, 17-point win by the Dallas Cowboys. They're not going 40-0 them on the road, I don't think, but the Dallas Cowboys are a football team that is hungry and determined to get to the number 1 seed, not only in the division, but in the conference. And so this is a game that they have to have. These next 2 games, they got to beat the Panthers. They got to beat the Commanders next week to have a shot at, winning the NFC, winning the NFC East. So I think they go out there, they handle business against the Panthers. I just, again, the Panthers aren't it. They're young at quarterback. I feel bad for them. Honestly, Bryce Young got a lot to learn out there, but again, he ain't got a lot of work with either. So Cowboys gonna go out there, they're gonna handle business, they're gonna get to him in the pocket, make things tough, force some turnovers, score on offense. Dak Prescott lately has been on the heater. Can't completely take away from him. He killed Philadelphia, he killed the Giants. I forget who they played right before the Rams, killed the Rams too. So he's been on the heater lately. That's why guys like Michael Parsons, like, he should be an MVP candidate. Okay. I already talked about that just now, though. Give me the Cowboys over the Panthers. Texans at Jaguars. I think the Jaguars bounce back here. Give me the Jaguars in this matchup. The Titans are That's all I can really say about them. I think they got their quarterback of the future for sure. So I think that is in line for them and Willis. But at the end of the day, I do not see them finding a way to get a dub in this football game. I just don't. I don't think that they're equipped, and I think that you are catching these boys fresh off of a bad loss, I would say, to the 49ers. So I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars will be hungry for a win. I think they find a way to get that win. I feel like their defense will step up offensively. They have to be better. They have to be better. They will be better. And so I'm predicting them to, go out there and get that dub in that football game. Where is the next matchup here? Let's see. Page went back and refreshed. Cardinals, Texans. Give me the Texans. CJ Stroud playing amazing football. Like I said before, like, it's not much else to say about that. Like, some people saying he's the MVP, the MVP. I say he's a candidate. I don't think he's the MVP, but he's playing at the MVP level. He's looking like the rookie of the year right now. He's playing against the Cardinals. They got Kyler Murray back in the lineup. Respect Kyler Murray. Played great this previous week, but I don't think it's enough to stop the Texans in that offense. I don't believe in the Cardinals defense, especially against a guy like CJ Stroud, who's playing like one of the elite quarterbacks in the game right now. So, yeah, I'm rolling with the Texans in this football game relatively easily, too. I don't think it'll be close, especially at home. I think that just is what it is there. You got the 49ers versus the Buccaneers. That game is in San Fran. Give me the 49ers. The Buccaneers are okay. They're a mid team this year. Baker Mayfield is, Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans is having a decent year, but dropping some critical passes. And, that defense is still good, but they don't play the same with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. And that's just the truth. I said this at the start of the season. I'm saying it again now. They may still mess around and win their division, mess around with the Saints, but You playing against San Fran, who just had a dominant win, and again, another team looking to, be the number one seed in their conference, be the number one seed in their division. So give me San Fran coming off a hot win against Jacksonville, against the Buccaneers, and probably another blowout, if I'm being honest, especially with that game being in San Fran. You got the Jets versus the Bills. This game, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to predict, not knowing if the Bills are going to win tonight. But I predict the Bills win tonight. So if I predict the Bills to win tonight, I'm going to put it like this. If the Bills lose tonight, they're going to lose to the Jets too. But if they win tonight, I can see them beating the Jets. I'm going to say, since I already predicted the Bills to win tonight, that the Bills are going to win against the Jets as well. But I got to tell you, though, man, that Jets defense has had Josh Allen's number. They have had Josh Allen's number for like 2 years straight now. So I'm not making that pick confidently. I will say that I'm not making that pick confidently. That defense now with Sauce Gardner back in the fold, healthy again, DJ Reed out there, they've given them problems, yo. So I'm not making that pick with a ton of confidence. But as much as I said the Bills are going to fall off, I still think they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs. And if you want to make the playoffs, you need these next two games. You need this game against the Jets. You need this game against the Broncos. So I think they fall off, but to probably 6-7 seed, fall off. The winner of that division being probably the Dolphins. And I think they beat the Jets here and they win against the Broncos. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, man. When it comes to the Bills, I don't even know what to say about them. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I do think they find a way to get a win here against the Jets. Then you got the Seahawks and the Rams. Give me Seattle. Again, the Rams, don't really know what to expect from them. Don't even know if Stafford is good enough to play. So that means if he's not, they got Carson Wentz out there, and not against that pass rush, not against that secondary. I don't see it. I'll just leave it there. I don't see it. You got the Vikings versus the Broncos. The Vikings, again, the hottest team right now in the NFC is the Minnesota Vikings. The way they're playing, the level that they're playing at, the Minnesota Vikings on the road against the Broncos. We'll see if the Broncos win tonight, but I'm going with the Vikings. And it's crazy to say the Vikings have an opportunity to move up to 7-4 this week. This is nuts to watch. I'm not going to lie to y'all. It's crazy to watch. Now, they're going to drop a game pretty soon. I know it's coming, but it probably ain't going to come against the Broncos. Joshua Dobbs playing great football. Justin Jefferson might be back in the fold. KJ Osborne might be back in the fold. Hawkinson playing elite level tight end football right now. And you still got to worry about Addison. That defense, again, is playing like top 10. I don't know if it says that to, statistically, but eye test, they look like a top 10 defense right now. Give me the Minnesota Vikings. Now I'm going to scroll back up and predict the first two games because the Eagles game is Monday night, and y'all know I got to say that for last. This is tough. This is a tough one. Let me start with the Steelers and Browns. Oh, this is so tough, man. Steelers beat them earlier this season. They really made Deshaun Watson's job hard. That defensive line, TJ Watt was getting to the passer. I'm going with the Steelers, man, because I just don't. Deshaun Watson, man, I can't get with it. I'm sorry, Browns fans. I know y'all on the high right now, sitting at 6-3, and I respect it. I can't get with Deshaun right now, bro. I just can't, bro. Not against defenses that I respect, and I respect the Steelers, at least their pass rush. The secondary got some work to do. I think they got a lot of promise in the future. But I'm gonna go with the Steelers in this matchup, man. I just think they're gonna beat them along the same lines that they beat them the first time. That pass rush is gonna get home. They're gonna force turnovers. They're gonna force the Browns into bad mistakes, giving the Steelers short field opportunities, and the Steelers are gonna cash in on their short field opportunities. I think that's how you beat them. They're not gonna beat them, moving the ball up and down the field on that defense. I'll say that. But will Deshaun Watson give them guys the ball and make their job easier on offense? I believe he will. I just can't with Deshaun, man. Give me the Steelers in this matchup. And I also believe in Mike Tomlin. It's Mike Tomlin, and he's up for games like this. They understand the magnitude of this moment, the magnitude of this game. Give me them. And honestly, oh man, like I said, I don't want to do this because of everything I just said about Lamar, but I can't go against Burrow in back-to-back games. I can't. I can't go up against a healthy Joe Burrow with so much riding on this football game, understanding the magnitude of the moment. It is in Baltimore, so that makes this prediction even harder. But I just think Joe Burrow fresh off a 2 interception game, just like Lamar fresh off a 2 INT game. But Joe Burrow fresh off that game, he knows he's got to have this one. And I got no other inkling outside of I just believe Joe Burrow will outperform Lamar Jackson this week. If anybody knows, people that follow my social media page, they know that, I did quarterback rankings and I had at number 1 Pat, at number 2 I had Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson was in my top 5 at 4, and I did say he was going to have an MVP caliber season, but there's reasons why I got Joe Burrow ahead of Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry, Ravens fans. I got nothing for you other than I just think Joe Burrow is going to outperform Lamar Jackson in this game. I have more confidence in him bouncing back after a loss than I do in Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm rolling with the Cincinnati Bengals in that football game. And then, of course, Philadelphia versus the Chiefs. First, let me do this right here.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Yes, sir. At some point, I got to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to lose. I have to run that music back for you because I wasn't able to do it for y'all last week after the big win over the Dallas Cowboys. So I have to run it this week. Again, at some point, I might have to pick them to lose. I already have that game in mind, and it's not this one. Super Bowl rematch. You have an opportunity on the road to take down the Kansas City Chiefs team that I believe has been reeling all season offensively. Defense has been playing lights out. The defense have carried the Chiefs, but that offense has been reeling. This is the perfect opportunity for that defense in Philadelphia to step up. Guys like Byard, guys like Bradbury, guys like Sweat and Hassan. It's the perfect game for that defense to rebound after a rough outing against the Dallas Cowboys. Overall, I think they will rebound. I think they'll have a big game defensively, make life hard on Patrick Mahomes, and then offensively. No Dallas Goedert for the Philadelphia Eagles. Take care of the football. I believe this part of the season is when you'll see some of the best Philadelphia Eagles football you will see all year because they are playing some of the best teams in the league and they wake up to play these games. Yeah, the Jets can catch them slipping. Yeah, Washington last year can catch them slipping. But when you play them high-level football teams, Philadelphia Eagles don't lose that game, them games often. 3-0 this year against teams that walk into a game against Philadelphia with a winning record. Jalen Hurts, 10-0 against teams with winning records when they walk in and they play Philadelphia because the team and Jalen Hurts wakes up to play good football teams. So no Dallas Goedert, but you still got AJ. You still got Devontae. Don't be shocked if you see Julio Jones playing some tight end like roles in this football game. You got Cam Jurgens back in the lineup. Don't be shocked if you see the run game a lot better than it has been in recent weeks because he's pivotal to the run game. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles go out there with a chip on their shoulder. They get your Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts coming off a bye week to heal up that knee some more. Has a day. Firmly puts himself as MVP favorite after this matchup. Because like I said, I believe this game will determine who's the MVP favorite. It will be Jalen Hurts at the end of Monday night. I will be back here to reiterate this prediction next Monday because obviously I record on Mondays, but I'm putting this out here now. Give me Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl rematch Monday night. Y'all knew where I was going. Y'all knew what I was going to say. Again, eventually I got to pick against the Eagles. But heck, I am 8-1 when it comes to predicting Eagles games this year. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Full Time Out. Y'all know where to find me at, man. A as in Apple, J as in Juice, A as in Alphabet, E as in Eat, the number 2, the letter K as in Kite, on all social media platforms, Twitter, Thread, IG, TikTok, wherever you want to find me, I am there. All my content is there. All my links are there. Wherever you want to find me, I'm not hard to find. I will be going live soon. I will be doing live shows soon, and I will be doing this like a radio show. So y'all stay tuned for that. But for now, I'll catch y'all on the next episode of Full Time Out.